Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for flying with
BYBA Travel.
Violent crime is down in the U.S. It's the lowest it's ever been in about 30 years. Maybe it's due to everyone being quarantined, and it looks like even thugs and stick-up kids were afraid of the Big Bad Cove. Anyway, we're all out and about now, and masks have been thrown in the garbage. So, if you're traveling to one of these cities in the near future and you see a face mask, proceed with caution because the mandates have been lifted. Here are the top 10 deadliest cities to visit in the U.S. per the FBI's Uniform Crime Report. Note, some of the most dangerous parts of the world cannot even be considered in the list of top 100 most dangerous cities because, due to their population size, they just can't be classified as cities. So, just because a location is not listed in the queue of the most dangerous or deadliest in the United States, it doesn't make it necessarily safe. You should always look into the area that you plan to visit, okay? Number 10, Stockton, California. One of the most dangerous cities in California, this city experiences crime 4 times more than the national average, and this is interesting considering it's home to California's oldest university. Looks like everyone majored in carjacking and or theft. The national unemployment rate is 6%, and Stockton is well above at 9%. I guess they figure they can just steal your stuff. The median income here is around $68,000. The population, 758,000. So 30% of them experience some type of property crime at some point. So lock your doors, pull your shades, and if you must, speed through this trap. The only reason anyone would want to be in Stockton is if your grandma resides there or you're just tired of snow. Stockton averages 0 inches of snow per year. Number 9, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The 31st largest city in the U.S. with 577,000 people, well, the people they count, Milwaukee is one of the most ethnically and culturally diverse cities in the U.S. However, it continues to be one of the most racially segregated due to some 20th century redlining. I think this would make me mad too, and obviously angry enough to take it out on you. Milwaukee crime rates are 84% higher than the national average, and you have a 1 in 24 chance of becoming a victim of crime. It's not getting better either. Every year it increases by 11%. No wonder they call them the Milwaukee Bucks. Get the buck out of town. Number 8, Little Rock, Arkansas. This little terrier has almost 200,000 in population per census, and the crime index says it's safer than 1% of the U.S. cities. 1%? The neighborhood scout gave them a 1 out of 100. Well, that's a failing grade. And it makes sense considering the high school graduation rate fell to 88%. And where did that other 12% go? Probably kicking down a door near you. If it ain't you. Your chances of becoming a victim of violent crime are 1 in 55 here. So unless you have a razor on your back, get it? Razorbacks? Stay clear. Did I also mention that Arkansas's rape rate is the 2nd highest in the country? That's disturbing. For the record, Arkansas is a beautiful state. The majority of the Ozarks extend to northern Arkansas, so just stay up there if you must travel through, or you should have no problems visiting the Clinton Presidential Library and Museum. I'm pretty sure they won't bother you there. Number 7, Cleveland, Ohio. Well, this city is known as one of the most miserable cities in the U.S. It secured that spot thanks to its high taxes, which are currently 8%, lousy weather, high unemployment, which seems to be getting better here lately. I believe they're at or just below the national average now. And corruption by public officials? Dang! That's depressing. The 54th largest city in the U.S., and it's just so stressful. Your chances of becoming a victim of a violent crime here are 1 in 59, and property crime 1 in 24. And don't forget about their broken political system. They had finally expelled House Representative Larry Householder for a $60 million corruption scheme. The last representative removed was in 1857, and that was for punching another member of the legislature. Cleveland, Ohio, get a grip. Number 6, Kansas City, Missouri. Well, dang, Kansas City. I had a lot of fun there when I went and had no idea that it consistently ranks on the list as one of the most dangerous in the U.S. Kansas City has a higher amount of low and median income households than the U.S. Their median income is around $31,000. Ouch. It has the 10th highest violent crime rate and is the 9th highest murder rates in the country. What? They are mad. And most crimes involve a gun. Population here is about 508,000, and they rake in over 176 murders per year now. For every 1,000 people, 11 are being assaulted. You will be assaulted. And if they don't snatch you up in Kansas City, their cousins will make sure to get you in number 5, St. Louis, Missouri. The second largest city in Missouri, your chances of becoming a victim of property crime here is 1 in 17. For violent crime, it's 1 in 50. Between the 300,000 people that live here and the 500,000 in Kansas City, this sounds like a war zone, don't it? Now, it's supposedly getting better here because the 195 homicides that were reported last year is a 25% decrease from the near record high they had the previous year. And that's just because people are probably just moving. If you're a dope dealer, sorry, but the block is already hot and saturated, so just stay where you're at. You don't want any of this. There's probably more of you here now than there are fiends. Not to make any threats, but if you don't stop and like and subscribe, you'll regret it. Number 4, Baltimore, Maryland. I didn't want to say duh, but duh. Baltimore stays in trouble. Baltimore is ranked 3rd in violent crimes, and most of its crimes is linked to illegal drug trafficking and a stubborn poverty rate. Last year, homicides reached over 337. They stay over 300 a year. And the median income here is $29,943, which is crazy considering the average list price for homes in Baltimore was about $220,000. So if they aren't buying their homes, then who is? Are we seeing any correlation with the violence in these cities and maybe where it stems from? I don't know, just an observation. But anyway, if you so happen to be chilling out in Baltimore, Maryland for a few days, lock your car doors. There's a 1 in 32 chance that you'll be vandalized or jacked if you leave so much as a sock on the dashboard of your car. They say that your chances of becoming a violent crime victim is 1 in 21 here, but that's probably skewed because they have to find the bodies first. Historically, Baltimore has been called Mob Town. It was because of the frequency of riots and how quick this community is to throw a tantrum. Number 3, Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham has the 7th highest violent crime rate, and its murder rate was the 2nd highest in the nation. The crime rate sits 112% higher than the national average, and almost 70% of the crimes reported were aggravated assaults. Once known as the Magic City, if I were you, I'd practice the trick where you disappear from this area, because 1 in 5 residents are robbed every year. Shush! Nothing but a whole bunch of stick-up kids. Now, they only had 132 homicides, but there's only about 200,000 people living there. If this keeps up, there won't be anyone left in Birmingham. The median income here is $22,000. If you're single, $19,000. And for an entire household, it's $38,000. So the poverty rate is about 25%. Again, declining population and jobs reveal Birmingham as a struggling economy. Number 2, Memphis, Tennessee. 342 homicides? With a population of 650,000, they wildin' out. Home of the blues and birthplace of rock and roll. You better drop and roll. Neighborhood Scout gave this crime index a 0 out of 100, meaning Memphis is safer than nobody. You're 1 in 41 likely to be a victim of a violent crime and 1 in 17 for property crimes. They say a good salary in Memphis, Tennessee is anything over $39,000, which goes to say that if you earn more than that, you earn more than 50% of the people living there. Don't you feel like a baller? Well, clutch your pearls because they may just get snatched. Now, is Memphis worth visiting? It depends. You like barbecue? A day stopover won't kill you, will it? And almost number one, the runner up to number one, because we can never leave them out, Detroit, Michigan. Now, travelers, we have to applaud Detroit because with 309 homicides, they experienced a 4% decrease in homicides. 4%. Yay! Robberies were down 18%, non-fatal shootings down 9%. What are they doing here in Detroit? These were dropping while other bigger cities saw an increase like Philly, Indianapolis, my hometown, and Portland. What? Now, don't get it twisted. The crime index is still a 3. You're still 1 in 4 likely to be a victim of a violent crime and 1 in 30 to be a victim of a property crime. But we can give Detroit a pat on the back this year and pay attention to what they are doing. According to Detroit, they are reducing crime in neighborhoods by closely monitoring vacant lots and abandoned or neglected buildings. Could it be that simple? Kudos, Detroit. I still wouldn't venture down Motown by myself at night, but you're making some progress. And now, for what I thought was such a shocking reveal, one of my bucket list destinations that I get to go here in a few weeks. And make sure you subscribe because we'll definitely post that adventure here soon. Number 1, Anchorage, Alaska. This was totally disturbing because Alaska is just so beautiful. And you'll see that when we come out with the video and bring that back. But all those beautiful national parks, whale watching, fishing, salmon, not Alaska. But with 40% of all Alaskans living in Anchorage, maybe they're just cold and sleepy because it's daylight all the time, or in the winter it's just dark all the time. The moods and depression outweigh the beauty. Maybe it's just awesome to travel for the parks and get the heck out of there. So the median income here is $40,000, and the top 10 most common jobs are cashier, sales associate, and customer service reps. The rest of Alaska, they work at the zoo or some geologist at a park. So anyway, with a population of 300,000, you have a 1 in 84 chance of becoming a victim of a violent crime and 1 in 29 for property crime. That means with only 300,000 people, these folks are terrorizing each other. I think the most disturbing statistic was learning that Alaska, in general, has the highest rape rate in the U.S., with 150 per 100,000 residents. That means over 450 are raped every year? That can't be right. And this number is down, people. It's down from 160. I can't even fix my mouth to say that's getting better. Now, they say most of the crime and all of this is because of the lack of law enforcement. So if you do happen to need them, they're just nowhere to be found. They can't help you, especially in the rural and isolated areas. And these crooks know this. CNN did a whole story on this called The Rapist Next Door, which is creepy. Then think about it, people. If you go in the winter, it's dark the whole time. Like just dark. So much depression in such a beautiful state. This was terribly disappointing, but I'm still going. I'm definitely not traveling there alone, and I wouldn't either if I were you. Most folks see the beauty on cruises and not so isolated tours, so that's one way. But when we go, we're flying in and venturing off on our own when we can, so stay tuned for that one. Well, travelers, I hope you found this enlightening, and just stay safe out there. As I said before, it's always important to do your due diligence on the areas you're choosing to travel to and to just stay alert. Now, if we talked about one of your cities, just let me know in the comments how you feel about that. Is this information correct? Are you seeing bodies drop? Let us know. Let's go.